Let's bring in Nebraska Senator Deb Fischer. She is a member of the Armed Services Committee. How would you assess, Senator, what the administration has provided Israel so far? And in your view, is it enough?
Well, first of all, I think that we all need to make sure that we continue to support what Israel's doing. They suffered a tremendous attack. Over 1,400 people were killed. If you compare that to the United States on 9/11, we would have lost over 40,000 people. We've seen horrific events take place by these terrorists. And Israel needs to have the time and the resources to be able to step forward and address Hamas, the terrorists that continue to attack them and take hostages, have them in their tunnels. So I think the administration, first of all, came out, President Biden, with a strong statement of support. That's good. I think the administration has also stepped forward by putting those 2 carrier strike groups in the Mediterranean to send a strong message to Iran and to their proxies that we are there as a friend, as a supporter, to provide Israel with resources they need. But it's up to Israel now to be able to implement a plan that they are clear about, that we have a full understanding of, and that takes into account the threats that they face.
There have been more and more pro-Palestinian protests across the country, and that seems to be splintering Democrats on Capitol Hill. There are many who are overtly in favor of the Palestinians. Do you think that that's going to cause the president to wobble at all in his support of Israel?
I think every member of Congress needs to step forward and declare that Hamas is a terrorist group and they need to be gone. They committed atrocities. They butchered babies. They burned people. They raped. They kidnapped. They murdered. That was something that they were proud of. They were videoing it while they were doing it. This is a terrorist organization that's a proxy of Iran. And if members of Congress have a problem in standing up and saying that, I think the American people need to be able to make their views known to those members. I am very concerned as I watch what's happening on college campuses, for example, with these demonstrations where, while they're supportive of Palestinians, in many cases they're also supportive of Hamas. That cannot continue. We need to look at addressing that, and college campuses need to step forward and address that as well. We've said, after the Holocaust, never again. The Jewish people and Jewish Americans, especially on these college campuses, should not be afraid.
The president is asking for $106 billion from Congress, much of it for Israel, also aid for Ukraine, and supposedly some money to go to the southern border and a couple of other things. Is that going to be split up, do you think? Are senators okay with the idea of voting on individual packages of aid, as the House Speaker seems to want to do?
I'm the second-ranking Republican on the Armed Services Committee, and I'm also the only Republican who serves on that committee and also on Appropriations Committee. On Appropriations Committee, we're going to have a hearing on the supplemental package on Tuesday, and at that time, we'll be able to meet as a full committee, bipartisan, have our Secretary of Defense Austin there, Secretary of State Blinken, be able to question them. I would hope Secretary Mayorkas would be there as well. He needs to be there when we address the southern border. This is a package that's been presented by the administration. We have members on our side of the aisle and on the other side as well that are looking at possibly addressing that step by step. What I think the American people need to know is that we face a number of threats as a nation, and those threats come from Russia, they come from China, they come from Iran. When we see what's happening in Ukraine by the Russians feeling emboldened to invade a sovereign country, that's testing us. The tipping point was Afghanistan, in my mind, where we had a botched withdrawal. So now we see countries that are emboldened to invade Ukraine. We see action by Iran with their proxies, whether it's Hamas or Hezbollah. And the Chinese are watching this as well. They have ambitions towards Taiwan. They are not shy about that. And that's another front that America has to look at. All the while, looking at our southern border and not having a border at all. There's chaos there, national security risks, humanitarian crisis. So we are facing threats across the board. And we have to make sure that a supplemental package will address those threats, building up our own munitions programs that we need as a country, being able to provide for our allies, and being able especially to control our own border.
American power is definitely getting probed these days. Senator Deb Fischer, Republican of Nebraska, thank you.